Hi there. Let's have some fun with a basic object like a bolt and learn some easy tools from Alias. So let's do this. So I've been modeling that Aston Martin 177. I've done the wheels on that and I want to do the lug nuts so I can bring them into that file. And once I've got it there, it's going to make everything look a lot better because we've got details in there. So check out the previous videos and you'll see how I got that section in. And once you got that as well, come back to this video and work with it or do whatever you want. You're free to do whatever you want. So I want this bolt. I've got this image here that you find the link to in my previous videos, and we've got some dimensions. So let's see what we can do to get to those dimensions. So first of all, let's define this section. For that, we've got that from the section from before. We've got that distance there. Let's do the center here. So one line there, another one there, and I'll have another one going that way, one going that way. It's important to get the angles right on these. Once we've got that, we can see that the image is not the best. So we've got 35 mil here as a reference on this line here. We will see that our distance here that we've got from this side to the other one is not 24. So we'll have to adapt some things there. See, 20 mil. So it's wrong scale. It's the wrong scale. So we've got those in there. Let's pick these curves, put them on a separate layer and color it in so it's easier to see. There we have it. 21 mil. That's the next thing that is going to be our reference. So that curve, we copy paste it, we move it. With Control Alt, we can snap it to the same curve that we snapped this one to, and then slide it wherever you want it. And I'll jump into the information window. This is a cool tool, as you can name your geometry, you know on which layer it is, and then you can work with the attributes, transforms, info about the pivots, so on and so forth. Here, the cool thing is I'm going to type in 10.5, which times 2 gives us 21 millimeters, and that's that there. Why that is important, you'll find out quite soon. So the next thing that I want to do, let's pick this curve and move it across here. Now we can go into pick CV here in the picking menu, and with Control and left click on this point, I can move and then Control left click on this point and it snaps it straight there. So this is coming back to the basic tools that I've just mentioned not so long ago in this video. You need to be able to master all that to be able to build bigger models, more complex models. So these are really nice exercises to work with these basic tools in Alias. Now, I'm going to be taking the extend tool and extending this back, and I'll pop a blend curve here. I'll pop a blend curve here. Now that I've got it in there, what I'll do, I'll extend this back a little bit. So I'm actually sitting on that section there. Nice. Now, everything is sharp in here, but in the real world, none of these are sharp. So let's add some curve fillets there. So I'll add one here between this one and this one. Let's see, radius 1. Let's give it 2 mil radius. There we have it. Alt and O turns off all of our CVs and hulls, and I'll go into trim here in automatic, set this on auto update, and as soon as you start working with the parameters there, and it starts updating. Now let's add a little one here. I'll do here, I'll go ahead and do the trick with extending back and blend curves between them. It's just easier. I don't have to think about why this is not working. Alt O again. That's cool. Now, what I want is I want to add one line here that goes that way, and I'll leave it overbuilt because I want to have the intersections there. Now, let's extend this line back because we don't need all that geometry in there. And now that we have all those curves, these ones, let's turn on their CVs. I'll delete the history. And I'll take all these CVs, except this one. And you see, I've built it a bit wrong. It's not all on the same plane, which is not a problem. I'll just snap all the CVs with Control and the middle mouse button next to this point here, which means, so move tool and then Control, middle mouse button next to this one and this view, and it brings everything on that plane. Nice. So let's add here a little radius as well. These are important as you will have them from your tooling, and it looks a lot more real. So same thing as before. Control Alt is snap onto curves. That's what I'm using there. Now I'll extend this back a little bit to give it a more regular shape. Alt O. I'll take these curves, except this one and this one. Delete the history, and I'll group them all together and move the pivot onto that curve there, as that is the center of my object here. Now we've got that. I'm going to revolve it, and now is where the fun begins. So in modeling, you'll have also these, let's say, so-called boring times where you have to do these things, and then you'll have also really nice and fun bits. And this is, for me, fun. So I want to add one more curve for the sake of having it before we do this, and it's going to be this here. So let's go into that layer, have that curve, and I want to add it into that node. So what I'll do, pick the curve, and then I'll assign it to that node. So I've placed it in there. So when I pick that, you have the group, you've got the pivot, everything is okay. And let's play with this. So this will get a revolve setting to it. And I'll click here on the picked vector. I'll use that one, which gives us this basic volume here. That's cool. Now, we want to get that hexagon in. How do we do that? And I'll show you that. It's super easy. I want that to work in 6 segments. And the next bit that I'll do, I want to pick these surfaces, these ones here. And that I'll do by using pick chain, and I'll use the setting tangent. Click on one of these edges, and we've got that tube there, which is amazing. Now, to make everything easier, I'll pick every second surface there, and I'll template it. And let's generate our hexagon now, and that's going to be easy by doing skins between these surfaces, these edges basically, and with no crown to that skin. So we'll go like that, click on crown being off, and next, and I'll use the edges of the revolve, because that's the history generating edge that I'm going to be using. So these get to be templates as well. So we've got that bit of the hexagon in. It's nice. Now, the only thing that we're missing is to know if we are hitting that measurement correctly, the 21 mil. So we will go into measuring here in evaluate, then let's find that bit. It's under locators, measure, and then distance. And then we will be doing a distance measurement. So we'll pick that. We will be picking this point here and the one across there. And when we adjust this geometry that's generating that, it will give us the exact dimension. So it's 19.3477. Cool. That means that we can take this curve now and we can start moving it up. And to do that precisely, I will take the CVs and I'll use the CV move tool, which is located here in transform CV, and I'll use the XYZ move setting, and I'm going to start moving it up in Z, and we will be paying attention to that number there. So we're lifting that point. You see that it's growing, put it that way. Went up to 19.88, 20.3. I'll keep going till I hit 21, or as close as possible to that with a minimal deviation. That will do. At least for me, that will do. Let's extend that curve as well. And one thing that we will always have here, well, we will have radii on these edges. So let's go ahead and take these surfaces and add those radii as they are important. So we will do that by using the fillet tool to be found under surfaces, and then surface fillet, G1 tangent, let's say 1 mil, form factor 1. We will add those. Make sure your arrows are pointing in the direction where you want it. Let's see what this gives us. We could also go with a bigger size of a radius. Let's see, 2 mil. Turn auto update. So now that's done. The reason why I've done it is to have an intersection between this volume and the lower volume there. And what I want to do now is to adjust this surface this little cone. I will be adjusting it so it comes up to that point there, and it intersects the other surfaces there. And I'll pull this up a little bit more. What I can do is take this surface and intersect it with this base here, and then I can take that curve there move its pivot onto the curve somewhere around here, and then place it onto that intersection there. This way we know that that intersection and this one, they all end up on that point there. And that happens all the way around, which is going to help us a lot with all this. And let's make this even easier on us. I'll make sure that this curve is a template, and then this other one here I'll move its pivot first with Control Alt and the middle mouse button. I'll snap it in space where that curve is sitting, and then I'll snap it up to that point there because we know they were intersecting at that point. Now what I want to do, I'll just rotate that line there till it sits similar to this one here, a similar angle. And I'll just scale it out. I'll extend this back. And then I'll take this curve that we've got here, that blend curve, and I will align it curvature to this curve here that we've just adjusted. And now the whole volume is adjusted to this thing here, so we don't need that extra color there, if you want to put it that way. So let's go into that, and with Control, click on that line. Let's pick that template because I forgot about it. Untemplate it. Now let's adjust the history on this. Click on that line. Now we've eliminated that from the selection, and it should work. This surface, this set of surfaces, we can template back. But because we've adjusted that selection, it recalculated the whole rotational object, and we've lost the history on those skins, but it's all good. It's all done now. So what we need to do is pick these surfaces now, and we will be going into another basic tool now. We will intersect them. For me, it's Alt-E or Alt-I. And for you, if you don't have anything set up, just click here. Next tool, trim surface. So let's pick all of those by the drag selection. Once again, it puts you the crosses, and then I'm going to hit keep. And that trims away the excess on that side, which is nice. Same thing here. So that's nice and clean. We have a nice intersection. That does it. I'm not so keen on this here, but let's take the curves and adjust that a little bit. So I want to extend that curve a little bit back. It will leave us a hole in there, but we will be taking care of that quite quickly. So we've got this overbuilt situation here, And the easiest way to take care of that is we will take all the surfaces and we will run a radius all the way around here. So go into surface fillet and I'll take, let's see, 1, the size. I'd like to have that radius running on that edge smaller than that one. So I'll just go and pick all these surfaces. And then I'll pick the ones with which they are intersecting. So there's 3 surfaces there. 2 more there. That's the last one. And I'll leave everything on auto. And let's see what it does. And it doesn't do it. Now, the reason why it doesn't do it is because the arrows are not pointing in the same direction as the radius. So I'd like the radius to be rounded on the inside there. So I need to turn this arrow also towards the inside. And now it's going to do it. Let's keep the interior in default, update it, and you'll see those nice radii being formed there, and that's it. I can go ahead and make it somewhat sharper. That's done. And we will do the same thing here. But we will do radius which is a lot smaller. That's it. 0.1. Let's turn auto update. This is going to be easier. Let's see, 0.2 if it does it. Too big. That's it. That's looking like a nice bolt there. Now, we've got a hole there, and no one wants a hole in there, so the easiest way to take care of that is to go in here and click on Set Planner, those edges, and you get a nice plane closing all that up. And for the sake of cleanliness, let's add one more fillet there. And let's put the radius 2. I'll use explicit control because I don't want those spans there. And let's go with degree with 3 there. That's about it. You see now this is all edgy and jaggedy. So what we want to do is we use that setting there, the globals. We set the tolerance here onto 0, and now everything is nice and smooth. That's how we like this. Now, the last bit is closing the model here, and probably you've guessed it. If not, we'll be using the Set Planner tool as well. That's it. And now all this gets grouped as one object. And I want to put the pivot onto its center. That'll be there. And I'll move the pivot out. And because this is done for me, we can delete the history. And let's do the nice checks before we start multiplying this. So the visual normals, they're off, and the geometry will be the same. We will be flipping the geometry ones first, as these will be flipping also the visual normals. So that's working smart there, at least in my opinion. Smarter this way. That is it. Make sure you save from time to time because you don't want to lose your progress. Let's check the visual normals. As I said, flipped, all good, nice. Now, this object gets its pivot somewhere else. Let's first pick the templates because we don't need them anymore. And that object, I'm going to place its pivot down here. And I'll do 5 of these. So edit, duplicate object. I have copies, scaling 1 on all of them. We'll need 4 bits and 72 degrees on the y-axis. And let's duplicate that. There we have it. That's cool. Let's group all these together. Move their pivot where it was. And now let's see this together with the front wheel. And this is why I've done this. Now you can see that we've got the bolts in there. And it gives it that extra feeling of realism. And this is what we're after. That's it. Thank you for tuning in. Simple objects, but they contribute a lot to your growth. And you learn a lot by doing these things. It's small mistakes on small objects, which will help you prevent big mistakes on big objects. So have fun doing these things and keep up with my other series, and I'll catch you in my next video.